everybody, and welcome to the 25th hour. My name is Christopher Franchi, and I'm your host. And with us today, we have Eric West. Eric West is a year-round hunter of most things with 4 legs and fur and 2 gills and scales. Does that sound accurate?
That's a good description.
All right. Welcome to the show, sir.
Welcome. Thank you.
Would you like to tell us your story? Why are you here? What do you do?
So, I guess basically in a nutshell is I like to hunt and fish, trap, do everything you possibly can do in the state of Michigan and even elsewhere.
And how did that happen? What's your background? How did you get pulled into this?
So, started off as just a kid with my dad, my grandpa, my uncles, my cousins. We grew up not rich, not poor, but the cheap thing to do was to take the kids out hunting. So that's what we did. Every weekend, head up north, go to the cabin, go out there, shoot some stuff, squirrels, rabbits. Deer hunting is a big part of Michigan. So went up there, learned from them, and just kind of started the ball rolling down the hill and then kept it going.
Now, what kind of hunting and fishing do you do on any given year, and what time of year do you do it?
Well, right now in December, we start off ice fishing, and we hit that hard water, walleye, panfish, catfish, lakers up in Higgins Lake. That's primarily what we do right now. Then that leads into, sucker fishing up in Omer. You can go out steelhead fishing a little bit out west side of the state. More walleye fishing, more catfishing. Keep going there and up until fall time. Then that leads into actual hunting.
Now, do you consider yourself an expert in any particular sort of hunting or fishing?
I wouldn't say expert in anything, but more of the jack of all trades, master of none. But I always say jack of all trades, master of none is better than just a master of one.
Right, sure. I know hunters and I know fishermen, but you are equally passionate about both.
Absolutely.
So what would you consider yourself? What do you tell people you are as far as your hobby goes?
I would say an outdoorsman. That's kind of the...
Covers all bases.
Yeah, because it's not just fishing and hunting. It's trapping. It's getting the food plots ready to go for deer season. It's going out duck hunting, goose hunting, ice fishing. A lot of people don't like. They're either open water or they're hard water, and I love them both. There's nothing I would trade above for the other.
So you probably consider yourself lucky to be living in Michigan.
Absolutely.
Because there's a little of everything, isn't there? Or
It's
a
true.
lot.
Yeah, and especially being outdoors, anything that can kill you in the state of Michigan, you can pretty much see. So I'm not worried about some little spider or some rattlesnake. Well, there's some rattlers, but some copperheads coming up and
I'm worried about spiders.
spiders.
I have horrible arachnophobia.
Okay.
Well, your bio mentions big hunts, and then there's smaller hunts, more typical or casual weekend hunts, and even paid hunts. Now, big hunt sounds big. So define big hunt. Big group, big game?
Big game. So I'd say big game is, your whitetail and larger. Your elk hunts out west. There is elk in the state of Michigan. If you get drawn for that, that's a once in a lifetime opportunity. So I'd say big game is your bear hunting, your elk. You can go do caribou up north in Canada. There's black bear in Michigan. Go do black bear hunts up in Canada. And then you got your brown bear and grizzlies. Moose hunting. Those are probably that's your big game.
So judging by that list, you do a lot of traveling outside of Michigan.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. We started doing try every 2 years to get out and head west or head up into the great north of Canada and take something down.
Now, so you mentioned a big variety of hunts, as you call them. Do you have a particular favorite that you like to hunt for?
Whatever's in season, typically.
You
Whatever.
are an outdoorsman,
Yeah,
aren't you?
whatever.
Whatever I can shoot at, that's my favorite.
Yeah, it's December. Deer hunting is coming to an end, so
Yeah.
transition into something else. Like I said, the ice fishing, trapping seasons now, coyote hunting.
So it's best to not have a favorite because then you're always happy.
I guess you can say
You
that.
know?
I mean, the wife's probably not the happiest about constantly trying to go outside and be every weekend be away, but
We'll get to that.
yeah.
Yeah. So with that kind of variety, is there a favorite location you like to hunt?
Yeah, my backyard. I would say I love hunting at my house. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Primarily, most of my stuff. I have my own.
You live in a rural area.
Yep, I got 20 acres I sit on, and I'm surrounded by farm fields. So all I get to do is I get to do my individual food plots. I'm got my cameras out looking at the deer. So yeah, they're not my deer, but they're my deer.
Yeah.
I get to look at them, watch them grow, see them come in every single year, and I know my own property, so the rabbits around there, the coyotes.
Well, yeah, you mentioned you actually raise some animals, so you've got some protecting to do as well.
Yeah, yep, the chickens. I'm not a big fan of them. I do it for the kids. I had actually an animal kill a whole flock a couple years back, and it was the greatest thing that happened.
So Michigan offers many options for the hunter, but deer hunting is perhaps probably the most popular. What's your preferred method for deer hunting? Do you use a gun, bow, crossbow, boomerang, squirt gun?
Squirt gun is my favorite.
gun,
Yeah,
yeah, I
it's
would think
difficult. You got to aim for the
Automatic?
eye.
Automatic?
No automatics in Michigan. Well, in the United
Okay.
States, but it's got to be semi-auto.
So just your basic Walmart squirt gun.
I go a little above and beyond that one. I go to Costco and get my squirt guns.
Oh, fancy.
Oh, yeah.
But seriously,
Okay, but seriously, yeah.
guns, rifles, crossbow.
So it like I said, it depends on the season. Bow hunting is in October and it goes in through November. Then it goes into gun season.
Do you
my
have a
tip-
preference between the
Oh
two?
yeah, I like bow hunting.
Yeah. Is it
Oh,
because it's more of a challenge or more fun? What?
Yeah, there's a lot more of a challenge with bow hunting. They gotta get a lot closer. I mean, nowadays with these crossbows they come out with, you can shoot deer from 100 yards away, which not biggest fan of, but yeah, you do what you gotta do. I mean, as long as you're happy, take down whatever you have to do. I'm happy for you.
Now, what would you say to this? People say that deer are dumb and it's cheating to put food out and to hide in blinds, that you have an unfair advantage. What do you say to those people?
Go out and try it. You'll see all of a sudden you got this deer coming in and they see you or smell you 100 yards before you even see them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's times where you're just lucky and you make your own luck most of the time, but I can sit there and go hunt in the same spot, same outfit, same everything, and different reactions from deer.
So
every single time.
you need those things to draw them in.
Baiting is illegal in the state of Michigan, so you don't need it. There's different kinds of ways to hunt. Most people do use the bait. Not a big fan of it. I typically like to hunt the scrapes. When the bucks are in mating season with the does, that's where they're gonna always go every single time.
And it would define scrapes because I'm not familiar.
So a scrape is when a buck comes in, they just tear up the ground. They have a low-hanging branch, and they just put their scent on the ground and on that doe that's in estrus, in heat, will come in, hit that scrape, and that buck will come in, try to find that doe all the time. So if you're there on that scrape, watching that scrape, I know for a fact that that buck will be there one of those times.
So crossbows, do you crossbow or bow and arrow? I don't know.
I do have a crossbow.
Yeah.
They were nice for many years when I did use them. Just a typical if you want to, if you're shooting does, I want to make sure I have a clean kill. Look at those things can go 100 yards out
Right.
fast, but I prefer a compound vertical bow.
Right. Now you've been hunting for a long time, so why don't you lay out exactly what you've accumulated there? What do you hunt with? You've everything from rifles to crossbows and all that. What's your armory?
So the bows I've traded in throughout my lifetime, the technology has drastically changed from when I was a child bow hunting to what it is now. Just unbelievable. Even when they came in with crossbows, that was the huge thing 10, 15 years ago. Those crossbows are basically guns now, and then the bows now that you have are typically crossbow type of technology.
Right.
Through my life, I've had many vertical bows from PSEs to, it's a brand name, Hoyt, Matthews, and then I went to a crossbow when they became a lot more powerful and legal in the state of Michigan, and that was F4 Tornado made by Parker, which is out of business, and they've been out of business for years. I still own that crossbow. Gun season, you start out with a 30-06 Remington that was passed down from my grandpa, down to my dad, down to me. So I use that still quite often.
That's a powerful gun. How old were you when you got that?
14. 14 was the...
Were you shooting it at 14?
Absolutely. 13, I was probably shooting it. Yes.
Were you surprised when you pulled that trigger for the first time?
Oh, it's loud. Yeah, it puts you on your ass. You're not ready for it.
Right.
Absolutely. Those things were... it's nice. I still use it to this day. Still have it. I don't know how old it is, but there's people now that have 30-06 or guns from half a century ago, and they still use it.
Yeah. All this stuff sounds expensive. Is there something you can do to dabble more or less relatively on the cheap with hunting?
Yeah, just go out in the woods with your 22 and shoot your rabbits and shoot your squirrels. It's all about what your passion and what you like to do. Being out in the woods, your bow hunting, that's typically relatively cheap. You can go to any state land in the state of Michigan. We hunt all many years 6,000 acres up in St. Helen. That's public land. There's no money involved in that. You pay it with your taxes already. But then you can also go pretty expensive with those paid hunts. Yeah, you're taking a lot of the guessing game out. A lot of the prep work is gone because you're going to go shoot monster bucks in high fenced areas. But you're going to pay a pretty penny for it.
Is there like a sort of a dream hunting trip you'd hope to attend one day?
My dream hunting trip, probably with my girls, really anywhere. My 3 girls. Now, if it was just going to be me, I love the cougar hunt idea. Tracking with the dogs, that's an amazing sound. I got dogs myself, blue ticks, and when they're howling on that trail, you really can't beat that.
I've seen the picture. You have to provide it for the show. The shot of you with the shotgun and the 2 dogs in their little camo vests ready to go.
Yeah, that was
a great shot.
Yeah, that was a coon hunt. Went out and right in my backyard. Yeah. It's one of those things. Just walk right outside, let the dogs go. I do it quite often.
Yeah. How do the dogs enjoy it? It's like what they're made for.
It's exactly what they're made.
They love it.
2 blue ticks. They're made for coon hunting, and they just go crazy. Once you put that collar on and that vest on, they know exactly it's go time.
Yeah.
And they head out.
My French bulldog's a big fan of treat hunting.
Yeah.
I'll go outside, go potty, give me a treat.
That tree hunting, that's exactly how you train all the dogs for everything.
Yeah.
That's the basis of how you get them chasing coons or rabbits or squirrels or antler sheds.
Now, do they, like if you shot a raccoon, do they run out and get it, or do they chase them out for you to shoot? What's their role?
So when you do raccoon hunting, they tree the raccoon, put the raccoon up in the tree.
Okay.
And that's when you walk up, see it in the tree, shoot it, comes down, and then if that raccoon's alive still, and it's game on. They want to kill that raccoon.
Oh yeah, really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And a lot of dogs go missing. Raccoons sometimes do win against dogs.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
Oh, yeah.
You've never lost a dog, have you?
Not on the raccoon hunt, no.
Okay.
Never lost a dog.
Well, let's hope it stays that way.
Yeah, that raccoon will chase have the dog chase the raccoon up into streams, rivers. Raccoons can swim hell of a lot better than dogs can.
So that puts a pressure on you. I mean, if you've got two dogs that are like family dogs and you're going to take a shot at that raccoon, you want to make sure you don't miss, because then that's just more of a challenge for your dogs.
Yeah, absolutely.
More risk.
Yeah. They'll take that dog out in the water and they'll drown that dog.
Yeah.
Get on top of it, a 30-pound raccoon will push that dog's head right down.
Cheating little trash bandit
They are.
bastards.
Little trash pandas.
Obviously, most hunters, do hunt for meat as well. Do you have a favorite sort of a meat that you enjoy hunting for?
I would say pheasant hunting.
Yeah.
It's not many places you can actually do in the state of Michigan. There's a lot of pheasant farms. Those are also very costly. They used to be a lot cheaper, but it's costly. Pheasant by far is my favorite to eat.
A pheasant farm, I mean, my visual is just like a shooting gallery. It can't be that easy. Explain what a pheasant farm is.
So a pheasant farm is they pretty much raise hundreds, if not thousands, of pheasants in these big canopy outdoors barns. And then when you go out there, you actually pay, let's just say, for 10 pheasants. You and I are going to go out. We're going to go kill 10 pheasants. They go take these pheasants in a field, and they actually put them to sleep. And then they hide them in the field. And then you're walking in this, 20-acre field. You got 10 pheasants there. The pheasants are free to fly away, run away, and a lot of times they actually do. And you're just walking out there with your dog trying to find them, and they fly. You got to shoot.
Well, so how long are they sleeping for?
Minutes. A couple minutes.
Okay, so they just put them to sleep to get them out there.
Yeah. So it's so you can put them to sleep and put them down, and then they go to the next one. Put them down in the field, and then you go out there with you and your crew and have the dogs. Sometimes you have pointers, or sometimes you have labs that will flush the pheasants up, and you gotta be ready to go, because once that pheasant goes up and you miss, that pheasant's gone.
Right.
Well, they fly. They got wings.
Now, would you consider yourself, I mean, you have brought some interesting things in here today. Would you consider yourself a trophy hunter?
Trophy hunter, I would. Yes and no. I would always love to shoot trophies. My idea is whatever makes you happy. I know people want to go out and they want to shoot that massive whitetail buck, But if you're okay with shooting one smaller, if it makes you smile, take it.
What's this particular trophy right here? Could you explain that for the folks?
So this is my pride and joy. This is a bear dick. This is a true boner right here, like you said. So inside only a few animals in the animal kingdom, there's actual bone inside their penis. And
bears and raccoons.
Bears and raccoons, that's right. When I was up in Canada, we did a hunt actually last year, and we had some Canadian guides because we just couldn't go up there and just hunt the, I forget what they call it, the magistry land. We call it public land, they call it magistry. So we had this guide up there, and I go, and lucky enough, I shot my bear the first night. 2 other gentlemen did too. They were up there with, and I'm there with the guide, and for bears, you have to cut the fur off and skin and quarter out that same night. The fur will go bad. Yeah. So anyways, we're going there, and he's skinning this thing out, and I'm going, hey, by the way, can I get that dick? He looks at me kind of, what are you talking about? I was like, the bear dick. Can you go in there and cut that thing off? And he's, you Americans. Okay. And I was like, no, I'm serious. I was like, I want to get the bone. He's like, okay. That's my Canadian accent right there. And he cuts this thing out.
Beauty bone, eh?
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. I'll get this bone out there for you. So I cut it out, and he hands it to me. So we go back to camp. 2 other guys that have that shot too, and I was like, hey, yeah. All right, did you guys get your bear dick? And they're like, what's that? And I was like, oh, there's the bone inside the bear. What the hell? So the next morning, the guide comes back in and he goes, hey, can I get my bear dick? He's like, well, that's in the trash yard. Can I guess so. So yeah, go and get our dicks. So
Get our dicks.
so he goes and dude comes back, and then once again I'm gonna try my Canadian accent again, and he's like, well, boys, I've reached a new low in my life. I've never had to cut a dick off a rotting carcass bear before, but here you go. And
I'm holding 3 dicks at once too, no less.
we're sitting there. He's got him. He's like, I just got to ask, what's wrong with you Americans? Is all you guys do down there is just measure each other's dicks? And we're like, well, yeah.
I would personally think this would be an easy way, as they say, with men, the dick measuring contest. Your bear, who's got the biggest dick bone, right?
Immediately. As soon as the other 2 dicks were in the other 2 guys' hands, we pull out a tape measure and we put them all down next to each other to see whose dick was bigger.
Yeah. Winner, bear dick dinner, I suppose.
Bear dick dinner. I keep this bad boy. Actually, it's a little joke only my wife knows, maybe a few other that fell for it. But I have a little coffee station at my house, and I keep this
A stir stick.
right there.
Stir dick.
So when someone comes over, they put their cream in. I always just watch them, see if they pull it out, and they use it for a stir stick.
Do you tell them before they drink the coffee or after?
I don't tell them at all. It's more for me, Hey babe, do you know that my grandma used the bear dick on her coffee?
Well, Little League, kids have like their sports heroes growing up. Do hunters have heroes? Do you have hunting heroes?
Yeah, it's my grandpa.
Yeah.
The celebrity fame of it. There's some guys out there, but nothing would compare to my grandfather. He's taught us everything, the passion for outdoors, hunting. Growing up, it was always dad, uncles, cousins, Papa Don. That's it.
The patriarch.
Yeah. I mean, everything stemmed from him. He passed about 10 years ago. And that old man would be the one that sits out there, in middle of November, up north, all day long hunting. Might not see a deer for 3 years. He's not going to miss an opening day. He's not going to miss. He's there for all of us. Every deer I shot, every nice animal that me or my cousins ever got, he was always the first one there. He wanted to see there and shake your hand. Yeah. So
that's cool. To get a little political anyway, or just your viewpoint on this, there's a lot of people these days love to push their agenda.
Oh yeah.
You should feel the way they do. And they expect you to care about what they care about as strongly as they do. What do you say to animal lovers who may look down on your hobby as cruelty to animals?
I don't think that there's more of an activist for hunting and for the animals than actual hunters. We're the ones out there making sure that the kill's clean, making sure everything is right. Deer management, population management of all the animals. There's no one that loves that deer more than the actual hunter. And I can say that with 100% full confidence that anyone that's anti-hunting, anti-gun, whatever, there's no one that appreciates that animal more than we do.
Yeah. There is I don't think these people understand that, a great deal of respect that you have for what you hunt.
Absolutely. Yeah. Those things are, the animals, anything from the squirrel to the whitetail to the bear. There's nothing that respects that animal and loves the animal more. Mm-hmm. And we want to make sure that their population thrives and they can coexist with us and everyone else.
Right. Yeah. People don't seem to understand that until they're faced with it.
Yeah.
So that's why there's so many people that are, I should say, there's a good number of people that are against it because they've never had to face it, and it's because of the hunters that have kept things under control.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't drive to the store without the threat of hitting a deer, then you'd understand.
Yeah,
what the purpose of that is.
your insurance company probably pumps a lot of money into deer hunting in the state of Michigan. They want to get that population down. For deer hunters, actually, we
Right.
want to maybe not have the quantity, but better quality in the state of Michigan. But we're there with them. But
Yeah.
it's expensive hitting the deer. They're going through your windshield.
Sure. Yeah, and if you think that I'm just catering to the guest, I'm myself an animal lover, but I understand the need for this. Um, so we're not sugarcoating anything here. The other political hot point, I would say, gun control. Some people would like that to extend into some of the things that would interfere with your sport, with your hobby. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about, just the basic handgun? Obviously you don't use a handgun for hunting. What's your take on that in general?
I'm a huge Second Amendment right guy. I probably not your average, gun lover. I like to use them for the purpose of what they're used for. I don't go out on the weekends and shoot a bunch of rounds off. I do have some for home protection myself. With all the mass shootings and everything that's happened, it's sad. I wish there's something that could be done, stopped, prevented. I don't know the answer, so I don't.
Well, there's a lot of people think when you talk gun control that the only answer, the only option is to take them away, but there are other options.
Absolutely.
There's just to control it. As far as how long you'd have, would you have any problem with saying that you'd have to wait 2 weeks to get a handgun?
Absolutely not. I've walked into stores, purchased guns before. I actually have my AR store. I went and bought an AR, and I went there. It was between a football game during halftime. I left at halftime, made it back by third quarter, and I was like, well, that was a little quick to get this AR, but if they told me to wait a day, absolutely. But if you go through the process of obtaining your CPL and you go through everything that needs to be done, I have no problem with you obtaining that firearm.
This hobby sounds very all-consuming. You're spending a lot of money on equipment. You're spending a lot of time traveling. You're spending a lot of time sitting in a tree, waiting. How do you balance your work life, fatherhood, being a husband, with your passion for the outdoors? Is the family involved in your outdoor life? And have you passed the sport down to your 3 daughters, much like your grandfather and your father did to you?
Yeah, it's very much condensed. Working a job between 40 to 80 hours a week, you got to take the time off. Luckily, I have a job that allows me to do so, not nearly as much as I would absolutely love to do, but a lot of planning goes into it, prep work, and begging, I would say. You have to make time for the girls stuff. But like this, I had a talk with my wife just a couple of days ago, and she says when she wants to go out on a girls' night, she's got to call for grandma, get babysitters, get everything set up, and then in the midst of that conversation, I planned 3 ice fishing trips in January. And you don't even care. I do care, but I'll be there. Don't you? I'll be there for the girls, and I try to bring them in as much as I possibly can. My daughters are relatively young right now for the sport. Difference between their age nowadays comparison to what I was, there was regulations on, you can't shoot a shotgun till you're 10 years old. You couldn't deer hunt till you're 13. You can't shoot a deer till you're 14. Right. Now, if you have a social security number, you can go out there and hunt. Just got to pull that trigger.
Right.
So it's nice now that I can bring my girls in. This turkey mount that I have actually was one of the ones that one of the first hunts I took my daughter on. So this is why I mounted it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I like to bring my oldest one, Charlie. She's going to be 5. With the new laws, she's talked about, Daddy, when am I getting my gun? I was like, oh, you'll get a gun. Don't worry. When you turn 5, you're going out, and I'm taking you out opening day of deer season in 2023, so just next year.
So the difference must be just growing up in it, because I mean, you've got 3 daughters.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know there are female hunters out there, but the balance, I'm sure, greatly tips in the male. For every 5 male hunters, there might be 1 or 2 female hunters.
I have.
So you have that against you. However, and girls in general are kind of like much more animal lovers than most men are, as far as the cutesy thing goes. So, but no uphill battle whatsoever, because they grew up with it.
Yeah, my daughters will fight come before September to argue about who's going out with dad to go look for the geese flying. My daughter will sit out there on the porch with me, just watch the geese fly in, where they coming from, which way, and once they pass the house, we get in the car and we go track them down, see what field they're going into. They love it. They absolutely love it. I didn't really push too much into it. Just like your father, your older brother, whatever they're into, generally the younger sibling gets into as well. So
sure. But they've probably grown up with the understanding too. They know that you're not just out having fun killing stuff.
Right.
That there's a purpose.
Right. Yeah, they love it. They just, I want to eat my steak. Dad, where's my steak? You're talking about a kid that won't eat a hot dog, has to eat a bun with ketchup on it, but yet she wants the venison steak tomorrow. So it's...
So she knows good meat from lousy meat.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. You got to lie to her about she won't eat hamburger. It's ground up piddle food. I'm like
5-year-old boys right now. Watch out for this girl come 20 years from now, because she's gonna be an expensive date.
Yeah.
I'll have the fillet.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, maybe not. She might be cooking you a venison roast or something like that.
Right.
What do you want? You want cow meat? I got some moose tenderloin over here for you that I got last year. That's probably a little bit more of an expensive, I don't know, take a girl out onto a moose hunt rather than...
Yeah, I can't imagine taking a girl out on a date and she's like, no moose tenderloin?
Yeah. Ruth Chris.
What kind of a place did you take me to?
What's this Ruth Chris place? I got some venison straps back at home I want to try out.
So what's next for you? What's on the horizon hunting-wise?
Every weekend something different. Like I said, just deer season's ending right now. We got some big hunts planned in 2023. Every year we're trying to do something big. This coming year, I've been putting my points in for an Iowa deer hunt, Wyoming mule hunt, antelope hunt, and then an elk hunt. So my points are up now, ready to go. So 2023 looks like I get to escape for a week or two and head out to Iowa for a nice whitetail hunt, and then a couple of us are trying to plan the Wyoming hunt for for antelope or for mule deer. So that's gonna be the big ones probably next year. But every weekend could be a great hunt, as long as you stick at it. Ice fishing up north, ice is good right now. Weather today and tomorrow was kind of crappy for the ice, but we'll be heading out. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Every weekend, I can't wait. Can't wait for the next season, and I already missed the one before.
Well, thanks for taking the time to join us, Eric. It's been a pleasure having you. And, may your bare dick bone prevail in future competitions.
I'm going to have to get you one out here to get you for your stir steak.
Yeah. Please.
You want? I'll get you some raccoon ones so you can sprinkle around. Make your own little necklace. Dick necklace.
And on that note, that buds it up for another episode of the 25th Hour. Please be sure to subscribe. Click that notification bell, ding, 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 and tell your friends to tune in. Take care, and we'll see you next time. For more information on Eric West and his future YouTube show, all of his socials are in the show notes below.